Well, I got some news for you folks. Hopefully you can hear me. There's noise in the background and they're doing construction around here, but hopefully you can hear me. It's a beautiful day. Look at the sunshine behind. Look at the sunshine and the blue sky. I'm drinking milk. Anyway, welcome to the show. Rob here. I got some fabulous news. God has graced me. God has blessed my family. I got approved for short-term disability, which is good. Okay, so now I can move forward to where God is placing me, what I'm doing. And that's an amazing thing. Just want to share that news with you. It's good. It's really good. Okay. I'm going to read something today. It's called No More Doom. No more doom, death and doom. Oh, fear and death and doom. No more doom. God is the great placer. The element the in Greek denotes place, and theos, Theos, the name of God, from which we get theology, and many other like words, denotes the one who places. This may have been a translation originally of the Hebrew alim, Aleim, Aleim, from the root al, dispose, for it denotes practically the same, the disposer. Even unbelievers have the proverb, man proposes, God disposes, which gives an excellent idea of the basic idea of deity. In this same family, place, are two very interesting words, one of which deals with God's placing or disposing. This is katathema, katathema, or Kathema, down place effect, doom. The element kata, down, katabole, same thing. Downcasting, same thing. Katabole, down, kata, sometimes has the idea of adverseness. Adverseness. Just give me a second, I'm going to sneeze. As down just, convict, down able, tyrannize, down judge, condemn, down talk, speak against, down excrete, down excrete, curse. So here it seems to have almost a literal sense of the elements, place in a downward position. So it's kind of a word study today. I would say that. Disposer, placer, downcast, all this. This is like word study, and it's awesome. So here it seems to have almost a literal sense of the elements, yes. The potter has the right to make a vessel for dishonor. The clay has no right to object. If God wishes to display his indignation and make his power known, he has a right to make appropriate vessels of indignation suited for destruction. Romans chapter 9, verse 22 and 23. This he does during the eons which precede the great white throne judgment. In the last eon, however, God has made known his indignation against sin. His power has been fully displayed. As the great potter, he finds no more call for vessels of indignation. All are vessels of mercy adapted to display his glory. There is no more doom. No more doom. I'm saying it again. The fact that God no more dooms his creatures to display his inevitable yet dreadful indignation, nor, as he did with Pharaoh, places them in positions of power that he may display his own, gives the eon of the eons a character radically diverse from all before it. The eon of the eons. Even the much lauded millennium, which is 1,000 years coming up. That's the next eon. Here it talks about the last eon. The eon of the eon, the fifth eon. The best eon ever. It is a fearful mistake to suppose that God's present activities are normal, or that they will be eternal. His creatures could never love or adore a God who damned his own workmanship with a ruthless hand. This leads us to consideration of the second word, katathamistio, downplay size. Katathamatizo, downplay size. It is the same meaning as doom, only it is a verb. The third time that Peter renounced his Lord, he did so with the characteristic vehemence of the Oriental, damning and swearing that he was not acquainted with him. Look at that. Peter. That's interesting, because he denied the Lord 3 times. He denied our Lord 3 times. Wow. That's a beautiful word. In that sense, yes it is, because it was God's will that he denied him. Usually Easterners call down upon their victim a great variety of evils, merely to satiate their feeling of hate. With an entirely different motive, God does this, not merely in word, but in deed. He damns some of his creatures, or dooms them to undergo evils in order to display his attributes. In the judgment, any apparent wrong will be fully righted, so that none of his creatures will ever hold it against him. The activity of his does not enter the last eon. When we consider the untold hosts of his creatures in the concluding eon on the earth, as well as the countless company of other confines of the universe, all of whom will be spectators of the tragedy of the eons, especially the middle 3, and compare their number with the small fraction who are upon the center of the stage during these eons, even though their sum seems large to us, they dwindle down to insignificance, and we find ourselves viewing the evil of the eons much as Paul looked upon our personal experience. Even when we endure a lifelong of suffering, we may speak of it as a momentary light affliction. Okay, what's 50, 100 years of affliction on this earth in a human form compared to the glory that's coming? It's nothing. It's like miniature. But who thinks of that? Who thinks of that today? They wallow in their own misery. They're so beaten down they cannot focus on God. So guess what? Their affliction is not light to them. For us, it should be light, a momentary lightness of affliction to display his glory among the celestials, his display. This expression also carries with it the implication that the last eon is of untold length and glory, for the preceding one is too short and too thoroughly characterized by evil on the earth to warrant these superlative expressions. Amazing stuff. I'm going to read the rest of this. No more night. It's all day. It's all bright. It's all clear. Although it is not of faith to spiritualize the blessings on the new earth, there can be little doubt that their literal fulfillment will be significant of the spiritual realities which will accompany them. This we read, that night will be no more. The Unveiling, chapter 22, verse 5. That this is literal is evident from the fact that lamps will not be needed, nor even sunlight, for the light of God will shine forth. That's it. They won't need no night, they won't need no day, they won't need no lamps, nothing. Because God's glory shines in that last eon. Clear, clear, crystal clear. His light. Just how the Lord will illuminate them is not explained. Yet the appearance of heavenly visitants, endowed with superabundant vitality, when allowed to shine forth, has been luminous. Our Lord hid his glory, except when he was seen on the Mount of Transfiguration, or when Saul saw him on the way to Damascus, right? So Saul was knocked off his horse by the brighter than the noonday sun. Think of that, brighter than the noonday sun. How illuminating is that? And how scary is that? Honestly, When God visits this earth, it's going to be scary for them because they don't know him. Wow, they'll hide themselves. They'll try to hide themselves under rocks and caves and mountains. But he will unveil it. He will take it away, man. They'll be exposed right away. Then the light was blinding in its intensity. The glory of God shone about the messenger, who announced the birth of the Savior to the shepherds. Luke chapter 2, verse 9. Even today, many fishes carry with them a means of illumination in the dark depths of the sea, so that it is quite possible that the bold figure of the apostle, "You are light in the Lord," Ephesians chapter 5, verse 8, may not only become fact in our case among the celestials, but may also be true of the dwellers on the earth in the eons of the eons. The illumination seems to apply particularly to his slaves, that is, his servants in Israel, who as the passage provides, will reign for the eons of the eons. The nations will walk by the light of holy Jerusalem, the new city. Unveiling chapter 21, verse 24. Undoubtedly, this luminous exterior will correspond with the enlightened heart and mind. All will know God then, especially his slaves, for it is significantly added, they will offer him the service which is his due, his glory. Unveiling chapter 22, verse 3. He is their light and their illumination in a sense far deeper than the visible brilliance of their frames. For this is the great requisite preliminary to becoming their all. Life is needed before men can have light, and light goes before love. So he will reveal himself in the eon of the eons, not by dark contrasts of sin and Satan, but by the increasing light. The brightening light, the positive lavishing of his love, the superabundant life, and the unlimited light of this final eon approaches the glories of the consummation with his supreme revelation of God's boundless love. In view of all these glories, let us give a much larger place in our thoughts and meditation on God's activities to the final, finishing eon. Let us not view the others without giving it its prominent or proportionate place. It will mellow our conceptions of God's dealings during the Aeonian times. Its life and light will do much to relieve the death and darkness of this somber, sin-shadowed days. The Aeonian times will average much higher in earthly bliss if we add to the dark, dismal, dreadful days in which we live, and the much more terrible times that lie ahead for this earth. The long, life-filled, light-flooded, love-lavished eon, which is the eon of the eons, which is the last, the longest, and the most excellent. Adolf Ernst Knock, Unsearchable Riches. I love you all. Beautiful day. Happy Friday, happy weekend. Have a wonderful day in the Lord. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you all.